Hello, I'm Anna Delaney with ISMG, and today we're talking about the non-human identity revolution. I'm very pleased to be joined by Danny Brickman, CEO of Oasis Security. Great to see you, Danny.
Good to see you as well, and thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So we're talking about the non-human identity revolution. Before we get there, before we get to the revolution part, tell us, what do we actually mean by it?
So, for ages we were focusing on human identities. Like yourself, you had a username and password for specific applications, right? But in the era when software eats the world, right? Every application, automation, AI agent is leveraging an identity, and this identity is a non-human identity. It doesn't necessarily have a username and password. There's different ways to authenticate. And this world is expanding right now at scale because of everything that we know from the news, right? Like AI revolution that is coming through the door, right? Cloud transformation. All of those are actually creating a lot of non-human identities.
So why is this happening right now?
So as we can see around us, right? We want to drive more value to the business. We want to create more, right? Automations, applications. We want to just make the business more efficient, right? And as I said, it creates a lot of non-human identities, and we're actually seeing today the non-human identities bypassing the human identities in the factors of 10 or even 50, which wasn't like that a few years ago.
And so what's happening right now? What are you seeing and observing in terms of the threats that this poses?
So we've been seeing this world evolving in the last few years, and attackers are actually seeing this evolving as well, right? So you can see notable breaches like Cloudflare or Microsoft, the non-human identities being a significant part of this breach with no good solutions to help that.
Well, tell us more about what you're seeing the adversaries doing. You said they're taking advantage of this space.
Yes, so I'll give you the basic example, right? You are not sharing your password that easily, right? You won't be sending a message with your password in it. But when a developer needs help from his buddy to debug something, he will send a token or a key just to help him. And he forgot about that. But attackers are seeing that and leveraging this.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us how you are actually responding to this threat. I mean, it's, as you say, it's grown at scale, but what are you doing?
First of all, we need to find and see all of those accounts, right? We need to gain visibility, a contextualized visibility to help us understand what are the riskiest accounts that we need to clean up immediately in the organization. And after that, once we finish cleaning up the critical ones, we can proceed to the part that we call lifecycle management of non-human identities, which means to control and manage those accounts from the moment they are born to the moment that we need to decommission them through rotation and secret managements and all of those different parts that are today done manually and are a lot of burden on the organizations to manage those.
So you mentioned visibility there. Is that where organizations struggle the most when it comes to mitigating this threat?
So I would say there are two parts. One of them is gaining the visibility, and the second one is managing it. And it's two different struggles, but are extremely painful for the organization today. And by the way, the existing identity stack was not built to address those needs. So they're doing it manually.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now you recently acquired a new investment.
Yes.
What's your message about the criticality of non-human identities and the risk it poses to our future?
First of all, people are now seeing this problem as a significant and one of the biggest, if not the biggest one in their organization. And we're planning with this new funding to expand our product and R&D team to address those use cases and problems that we're seeing with our customers, to work more closely to the market and to build this platform that will actually help us manage, first of all, non-human identities. The moment we will finish with this huge and probably the biggest gap that we have in the identity space right now, we'll expand to other territories.
Mm-hmm. What's your advice to organizations as to where they can begin? How can they start?
So first of all, connecting and gaining visibility in a simple way. And we're doing it in quick integrations, few minutes, and we're getting this visibility within a few hours. After that, we can decide what are the next steps. How do we want to proceed? Is the critical needs to be addressed immediately? In what way? So this is the first thing that we're doing, and it's bringing a lot of value to a lot of Fortune 500 companies that we're working with.
How do you stand out amongst the competition?
The biggest thing was to build this contextualized layer, which is like a proprietary IP that we have, that we build with an AI agents that like builds a full picture of those accounts. The most progressive one that we are seeing today in the industry. And second of all, the part of lifecycle management, which is like a novel approach towards managing identities, is our secret sauce.
Okay, which you're not going to tell us more about, I'm sure, because it's secret. But what's the biggest misconception you come across in terms of when organizations are really approaching this problem?
They're trying to solve non-human identities with human tools. And they're by definition different, right? A human identity is assigned to you or to anyone else. Non-human identities are assigned to applications, processes, cloud applications, and to identify those, this is the first step that we need to do, to build this context layer. And people don't have these tools to do that today, and they're trying to manage it through existing tool sets that were not just built for that era.
How do you see this space evolving in the next year, and what's your message to organizations?
First of all, we need to address this problem immediately, because if we want to drive AI and automations and everything in our organization in a safe way, we first of all need to manage our accounts that are not managed at all. And like if we're seeing 10 to 50 times more non-human identities than human identities, the prediction will be hundreds or 200 or 1,000 more non-human identities than human identities. So we need to address it immediately in order to solve the gaps, and well, attackers will continue leveraging that.
Well, Danny, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you very much.
And thanks so much for watching. For ISMG, I'm Anna Delaney.